So I put this question up on Twitter. Question for all my artists and creatives: how is quarantine affecting your creativity? Twitter, we have 31% of people saying it's crippling it, and we have 69% of people saying it's flourishing. Then on Instagram, the numbers were pretty much similar. 33% said it was hurting them, and 67% said the quarantine is helping their creativity.
I'm interested to see who answered what, because I have a theory basically going on with what's happening, that like whatever your role was or whatever you were doing in life before this happened, if you were being creative out in the world, and then the quarantine happened, it kind of most likely probably stifled your creativeness.
Okay.
Because you were in a routine of creativeness, you learned how to be creative without having time and needing like certain spaces and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So now, because of this, you're forced to be inside, which changes your routine. And a lot of creatives out there will agree with me that like it's all state of mind.
As far as like creativity and creating, it's kind of hard right now without like human interactions and stuff like that. Because I base a lot of, how we write and what I write off of the people I see or the experiences that I have in my normal life. So to be confined to like, one house or whatever is kind of, it's a little different. You're not seeing as many people.
Right.
You're not getting all those like experiences. I don't even think I couldn't even tell you the last person I gave that to. Yeah, the creativity is definitely like something that I find is taking a toll, or taking a hit rather.
Yeah.
So
I also noticed, which I thought was interesting, that, don't completely quote me on this, but I was seeing that music streaming has gone down, which was interesting because I thought it would go up because everybody's at home. But someone was speaking on the topic saying that listening to music is kind of a passive thing. People do it while they're in the car, going to work and doing things and out and about. So people expected streaming to go up, and in fact, it's gone down. So it's kind of been rough for artists and creatives out here.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is now is we have the option to kind of use I was bored in quarantine, so I did this for the content type of thing. So,
right.
Like, I don't know, I feel like being quarantined has let people be like, okay, how can I, still create content, but it's also, we're in a weird time right now where it's kind of like all the content that comes out right now will kind of be like a piece of history. When you go back and look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that was the content that we created when we were only able to leave our house, or we weren't able to leave our house. So it's like, it's going to be a little period of like a period of history. So I think all the content that's coming out now is kind of cool. But it's also giving people, I think, an opportunity to step outside of their comfort zone and I guess, use their imagination.
At Hook Goddess on Twitter, she is a producer in Connecticut. She said, as a producer artist, I'm used to being in my room creating. That's where most of my songs are made, and I pull inspiration from past events in my life, from what I see on social media, whatever ideas come to me, but my creativity has been solid so far. So yeah, like you said, it depends on what you do, and it also depends on like what kind of artist you are. Like she's saying she's used to creating in her room and pulls inspiration from past events and things like that. I just had a snippet of an artist, on the phone saying that he draws from human interactions. Instagram at dnice1227 says, gives you the chance to just lock in, nothing left to do. At Chase Freeman on Twitter said, ups and downs, but I started doing things out of my element for creativity. J Prime 757 on Twitter says, more time and stillness to really explore and experiment artistically. The process of locking in and focusing has been even easier than prior, and I've been creating some of my best work with minimal effort. Shout out to Trey Tuck. He says, gives you more time to prepare and plan, slows everything down in a world of constant movement. F Styles on Twitter, shout out to Furious Styles. It's flourishing and I'm able to plot and plan much more. Shout out to Trap Phone Fetty. He said it's a weird mixture of both, which I can agree with. That's kind of where I'm at right now with it. You have more time to be productive, but the time management aspect of it, I feel like I'm worse off.
That's the boat I'm in, just because you're used to deadlines. You're used to, like, the world moving. I've been in that boat sometimes where you're looking to have a rebirth of some kind, like some sort of recreation of yourself, or you just haven't been happy with your situation that long. This is that moment. If you don't understand that you have the opportunity to do that now, I mean, I just don't want to hear people complain, to be honest. There's so much complaining, and it's always going to happen, but like...
Yeah, I mean, someone's always going to have something to say.
Right, but just all these people, my life sucks. Like, you had a good amount of time to maybe kind of change the direction things were going in, and it was at a time where everyone was stopped. So, like, I mean, again, you can't compare the race or the finish line, whatever, to everybody else's, but, like, it makes a difference, and this can be somewhat of an inspirational moment for a lot of people. You're going to see a lot of millionaires come out of this. You're going to see a lot of new artists, a lot of new creative people come out of this, because the one thing that we do have is opportunists.
That's a good point. I think there is definitely going to be some sort of cultural renaissance that comes out of this.